This summary is presented by Sopio Mkervelidze, an economist at the Better Policy Project and a Level 1 student in the Global Forecasting School. Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Waller delivered this speech on November 17, 2025, at the Society of Professional Economists annual dinner in London, just a few weeks before the December FOMC meeting, which has since taken place. In the speech, Waller made a clear case for continuing rate cuts, grounded in a risk management framework rather than mechanical rule-based policy. He argued that the US economy was slowing, not accelerating. Despite disruptions caused by the US government shutdown, Waller emphasized that policymakers were not flying blind. Drawing on private data, surveys, and business contacts, he pointed to a weakening labor market operating close to stall speed. Crucially, Waller concluded that the slowdown in job creation was predominantly demand-driven rather than supply-driven. He saw no evidence of rising wage pressure, increasing vacancies, or elevated quits, signals that labor demand had softened materially. Subsequent downward revisions to employment data reinforced this interpretation. On inflation, Waller was notably relaxed. He viewed tariff-related price increases as one-off level effects, not a source of persistent inflation. Underlying inflation was assessed to be close to the FOMC's target, and medium and long-term inflation expectations remained well anchored, despite inflation having run above target for several years. Waller expressed particular concern about lower and middle-income households, citing worsening affordability in housing and autos, elevated borrowing costs, and weakening consumer sentiment. He noted that strength in equity markets, largely driven by AI-related firms, did little to support broad-based employment or consumption. Putting these elements together, Waller supported a 25 basis point rate cut at the December FOMC meeting, arguing that policy remained restrictive and risked amplifying labor market weakness. In his view, easing would provide insurance against a sharper downturn and would move policy closer to neutral without undermining inflation credibility. As of today, December 29, 2025, the speech stands as a clear example of how Fed policymakers were framing the late 2025 easing cycle, less about inflation fear and more about preventing unnecessary damage to the labor market.